Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Wow. Okay. That intro went about as well as the end of the game for the Mets just now. Sorry about that, but geez, I guess we can't all get what we want because the Mets take a brutal loss tonight. Man, that sucked. That sucked really bad. I'm a little upset about that one. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, that was a tough loss for the Mets. Let's get into it. I'm trying to make sure everything here is functioning properly. It does not look like it at all. So let me just turn off some of these new little fun features that I'm trying to play around with because clearly too much for them to handle. Let's see. Maybe, possibly. No, it's terrible. Okay. Well, hopefully it will come around here. I don't know. Let's see if we can get this fixed. Otherwise, you guys can probably still hear my voice, at least I hope. Brutal loss for the Mets today as they fall to the Nationals by a final of 5-4. They get walked off, and their 7-game winning streak is snapped. Bear with me while I try to get this here together. But guys, welcome to the stream. I swear it's not normally like this. This never happened before. I'm Tony Metro. Welcome to the stream. If you're new, subscribe. I promise I always have better quality than I do right now. As the Mets do fall to the Nats on just a really tough one. You know, one that most throughout this game, I'd say the first like 5-6 innings, I was like, there's no way the Mets are winning this game. You know, we're trailing 3-0. The ball's been bouncing the Nats' way the entire night. And then we get the Mark Vientos bloop triple to give them the lead in the 8th. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way they're going to pull this out. And then, of course, they have a terrible 9th inning with no Edwin Diaz pitching tonight. Give me a second here while I continue to try to get this solved here. I don't know why we're having so many struggles here with the stream right now, but super frustrating loss for the Mets tonight. So bear with me, guys. Let me know in the comment section below how you feeling after this one. That was tough. That was really, really tough to have to watch. I mean, just the game of inches. That's why they call it the game of inches, you know? The triple from Vientos, the right fielder, Cruz, I think it was inches away from making a diving catch to rob him. Juan Soto nearly catching that leadoff triple against the right field wall in the 9th inning, hits off his glove, and then Jeff McNeil unable to flag that ball down up the middle in what turns out to be a walk-off single for the Nats off the bat of James Wood. CJ Abrams scoring all the way from first. I mean, just absolutely brutal. All right, well, look, unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the stream fixed here. For some reason, we're having troubles here. I'm going to see if I could do anything else, but hopefully you can hear my voice pretty clearly here. I know it's not fun to watch with me lagging in and out like I am right now, but just a really brutal loss for the Mets. Let's get into it. Kodai Senga on the mound, not a terrible start, but obviously, you know, it seemed like a bad harbinger when you see, of all people, Brandon Nimmo being lackadaisical, throwing the ball back in with 2 outs to Mark Vientos, and Abrams turning that single into a double, and then a bloop 2-out hit to score him for the first run of the game. I mean, that just seemed like a bad omen for this one. Another run would come in on a double off the wall, off the bat of Abrams, off Kodai Senga to make it 2-0, who still had a pretty solid start. He ends up going 6 innings in this one, giving up those only 2 runs right there. So not a bad start by any means, as he gives up 6 hits, 2 walks, but strikes out 5. His ERA goes all the way up to 1.26. Yeah, from 0.79 to 1.26. Still having a great season, and today was a fine start from Senga. The problem was the bats weren't doing anything the first couple innings. Of course, we know it got even weirder after that play from Nimmo when Jesse Winker hits into what they called a triple play. So here's my feelings on it. I mean, if you can review if there's a trap in the outfield on an outfielder's glove, then why can't they review essentially what is a trap on the infield as well? I mean, you could even see on the replay that there was a divot on the dirt from where the ball hit before it went into the glove. I just don't understand why some plays are reviewable and some plays are not in this league. I mean, there needs to be a uniform policy about it, especially if we're talking line drives and fly balls. Like if you can review a line drive or fly ball if it's trapped in the outfield, why wouldn't you be able to review if it was trapped on the infield as well? And like I said, you could literally see a divot on the infield dirt right in front of the first baseman, Nathaniel Lowe. And it didn't even get scuffed away during the play. So you could have easily went back and looked at it. This could have been Shoe Polish of 1969 with Gil Hodges going out there and pointing it out. But regardless, a bad break for the Mets. They start the inning first and second, nobody out. And then, of course, turns into the triple play to end it. And then really from there, the Mets didn't do a whole lot. You get an opportunity there in the eighth. Brandon Nimmo with a 2-out RBI single up the middle that ends up getting smothered by the second baseman, Ruiz. Something that Jeff McNeil could take some notes from. Probably could have saved this game or at least sent it to the 10th inning. And then we end up going to the ninth with the 4-3 lead. Obviously, we know Edwin Diaz wasn't pitching today. Carlos Mendoza says it was nothing physical. He just had a lot of ups, downs on Wednesday when he pitched an inning and tried to complete the 10th inning as well against the Phillies. So nothing to do with the hip injury that he had. But overall, obviously, let's see. Does that fix it? No. Maybe. Looks a little better. Still pretty laggy. I think I just got too much going on in here. So live and learn, right? I'm playing with some stuff here, trying to make it better for the future. So sorry about that, guys. I know it's not great right now. Appreciate you guys hopping in, though, on the stream. Just really brutal. The inning in the ninth starts off with a ball up and against the wall in right field. Juan Soto's got to catch that ball. You have got to catch that ball. It hits off his glove. I thought for a second he did make that catch. He's got to make that catch. I mean, it hits your glove like that. You grew up your first 3 seasons, 4 years of playing in Nationals Park. How do you ease back to the wall like you did as lackadaisically and not have a feel for where you are up against the fence and drop it? I mean, that cost the game. I got to be honest. That play and Jeff McNeil's play. I can't even put blame on AJ Minter. I'm not even upset with him. Obviously that was a pretty good shot into right field, but Soto's got to make that catch. The base hit then with the runner at third ties it up, and I'm just thinking, just get this to extras. Let's see what happens. Top of the lineup's coming up pretty soon. Tyrone Taylor, I think it was Alvarez and Tyrone Taylor on deck, or might have been Taylor and then the top of the order. But, I mean, then for Jeff McNeil with 2 outs, James Wood puts up a great at-bat against AJ Minter. Starts him 0-2 and then works it back to 3-2. He didn't hit that ball very hard, but up the middle. And I'm sorry, I don't know what you're doing there, Jeff McNeil. You've got to smother that ball. Got to lay out. Got to slide in front of it. There's no reason he shouldn't have got it. He tried to field it with his glove when he should have been thinking his body. Kept it in front of him. Kept it in the infield. Preserved the lead, especially with CJ Abrams at first. That dude flies. The second I saw it get slowed down and trickling into center field and saw how far Taylor was, I'm thinking he's scoring. There's no way he's not trying to score. And you knew after that brilliant throw from Taylor in the 8th inning to cut down a runner trying to take second base, we were not getting another outfield assist. The baseball gods were definitely in play today. It was such a weird game between the triple play, between Nimmo not making a heads-up play, throwing the ball back into the infield that led to the first Nationals run, to the triple from Mark Vientos that barely falls in down the right field line. It was just such a weird game. The baseball gods were having fun with this one. And I thought for a second there that the Mets were going to be the beneficiaries of it in the end after that Vientos triple. Unfortunately, baseball gods had one more trick up their sleeve as that ball slowed down just enough into center field for the Nats to score. So the Mets lose. Their 7-game winning streak is snapped. They moved to 18-8, so now 10 games. Or I'm sorry, that's not right. No, there's no way, is it? Is it 18-8? Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, 18-8 on the season. Still 10 games over 500. So look, I'm a little upset right now, but this was just such an annoying game, but it's not one that's going to bother me for a long time. They come back out and win on Saturday afternoon. I'll be feeling fine again. But, right now I'm a little bit in my feels. I think a lot of Mets fans probably are after one like that. It was just one of those back and forth weirdo games that, it looked like we were going to get. No Diaz. I'm not even blaming Minter or Ryan Stanek for not being able to close it out. Honestly, don't like to place blame on particular players, but I got to say, Jeff McNeil and Juan Soto make those plays, and the Mets win. I mean, especially the Soto one. It doesn't let the leadoff runner get a triple to start the inning. And then McNeil, I'm sorry, you got to slow that ball down, keep it in the infield, smother it, do whatever you can instead of just leaning out with your glove. So tough one, but like I said, 10 games over 500. The Phillies, I believe, also lost today. Let's double check on that score. They were playing the Cubbies this afternoon, and they lost 4-0. So the Mets don't lose any ground to the Phillies. We're still 5 games up in the National League East. Not that we want to look at the standings too often this time of year, but point is, Mets come out tomorrow. They get a win. I'll be feeling much better. I'm sure you guys all will be too, and we can forget about this one. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, this stream is horrible. I am so sorry, you guys, but this is why we live and learn. I'm going to keep trying to work on this tonight, actually, so that I could come back right tomorrow with a pregame stream and we can get it going. What do you guys think? Who do you place the most blame on for the loss today? Is it Soto? Is it McNeil? Do you blame Stanek? Do you blame Minter? I'm not sure. For me personally, I'm going to actually do this real quick and turn off the camera and see if that'll help anything. You guys can still hear me, I know, and right now I'm just trying to fix this so I can continue the stream here because it's so brutal with the camera at the moment. So give me 1 second while I do that, but let me know in the comment section, guys, what do you think? I mean, who do you place the most blame on for this game? Because me personally, like, I got to give it to Soto and I got to give it to McNeil. Like, you've got to make those plays, especially Soto's that lets it be a leadoff triple to start the 9th. You know, we don't have Diaz. I've had full faith in Minter and in Stanek so far this year. They have been awesome. And, you know, for that to happen the way it did, just so frustrating, especially when you get, let's be honest, it was a gift triple for Mark Vientos down the right field line. You know, the Mets, and I'm going to be honest, when this game was going the first couple innings, I kept saying it's just one of those games. It's just one of those games. You know, there's so many just weird things happening. Then ball was bouncing the wrong way for the Mets. And then it looked like I said, the baseball gods smiled on the Mets for a second there. And they were going to let them pull this one out after Vientos' triple. And then they said, nope, just kidding. And they pulled the rug right out from under us. I mean, that was just brutal. Brutal. But anyway, we're trying to fix all this stuff here. But sorry, guys. I know it's not very fun when I'm just freeze framed like that. And you can enjoy these super cool highlights to our right. Yep, there's CJ Abrams sliding in head first to win the game for the Nats. Man, that was a crappy way to spend the last 2.5 hours, I got to tell you. That game flew by, though. I mean, it was like the 8th inning by like 2 hours in. And then that last inning between the Mets rally in the 8th and then what happened in the 9th there, that seemed to take it like an hour. It was like the last minute of the Knicks Pistons last night. By the way, go New York, go New York, go. Knicks taking a 2-1 lead in that series with them. Pumped about that. Bear with me, guys, while I try to get this camera fixed. I don't know what the deal is. It's giving me fits right now. So see if we can get this going again. But let me know in the comment section, guys, who do you blame the most for this loss? Like I said, I got to go with Soto, McNeil. I mean, those are 2 plays that big leaguers have got to make. I mean, just plain and simple. Period. Stop. You know, like I can't understand how you could have that ball up against your glove against the wall there, especially in the stadium you played the first 5 years of your career in, and then for McNeil to not flag that one down up the middle. Like, dude, come on. You got to know the circumstances there. You got to know the situation of the game. Like, you know that anything up into the outfield is going to get that runner around a third at the least, but when you get some I know he's trying. Look, I'm not dumb. I know he was trying, obviously, to stop the ball from going to the outfield. You know, of course, sometimes we forget. Like, these guys know what they're doing. It's not that they're not trying to, but me personally, like, I would have loved to just seen him slide or lay out and keep that ball instead of just reaching down with his glove. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna just say it. Like, that's a ball that Luis Angel Acuna gets. You know, like the Mets lose something defensively with Jeff McNeil at second base. That's just the plain truth. You know, I mean, it's like he doesn't bring a whole lot with the bat as far as I'm concerned either. And I'm not trying to crap on him because it's only been his first game here for Jeff. But I didn't love his at-bats today either. And he looks more like the Jeff McNeil we've been seeing 2023 and most of last year outside of like a 2-week stretch in the second half, where everyone was saying, oh, Jeff McNeil's back, Jeff McNeil's back. Like, I didn't see that. I see him stepping in the bucket, flying out lazy balls to left and the right field, ground outs to the second baseman. I mean, he had a base hit today. I'll give him credit on that. By the way, Francisco Alvarez also with the base hit in his return to the lineup. He went 1 for 4. But, I don't know, man. I don't know about Jeff McNeil. I'd rather see him in left field and keep Brandon Nimmo off his feet a little bit. Nice to see Nimmo bounce back at the plate, though, after his big mental error in left field. That was just like, come on, man. That is so un-Brandon Nimmo-like to be doing that, to just like be lackadaisically throwing the ball back into the infield. That let the runner get to second. He comes around to score the first run. Oh, boy. Tough loss for the Mets today. Real tough. Hopefully the camera's going to start working. I don't know if it is, but appreciate you guys all hopping in. Let me know in the comment section below how you feeling. Are you as bummed as I am right now about that? I could totally accept the Mets 7-game winning streak ending on like a 6-4 loss or like even a 10-1 blowout. Like, fine. But like, walk-off fashion that way, and it was not a normal walk-off either, the way it ended. I mean, that ball just trickling into center field. When you're a fan, it is such a hopeless feeling when you see something like that happening. Like, it's in slow motion. You're like, get to the ball, get to the ball. Taylor was so deep, obviously playing no doubles defense, like no blame to him at all, of course, but you're just like, oh my God, it's just like the most torturous way to watch your team lose a game, something like that. It looks like the camera's a little better now. Okay, hey, look at us. We're back, baby. All right. So appreciate you guys hopping in. I hope you guys have subscribed. If not, definitely do so. Daily Mets content. Guess what? We get right back on the horse tomorrow, and we make another pregame stream tomorrow for the Mets. It's going to be, I believe, Clay Holmes. Let's take a look at tomorrow's game and the pitching matchup. It's a nobody for the Nationals, which is good. Sunday they got Mitchell Parker, and that dude can shove. So I highly recommend the Mets win tomorrow if they want to avoid losing 3 out of 4 potentially to the Nats. So it's Clay Holmes tomorrow, 3.16 ERA, making his 6th start of the year. He's been solid his last 2 times out. And he's taking on Brad Lord of the Nationals, right-hander so far in 3 games this year. He's 0-2, 4.73 ERA. He's a rookie, so let's see, how old is this kid? Born in 2000, so he's 25 years old. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But, Sunday, Mitchell Parker, that dude is nasty. If you guys haven't heard about Mitchell Parker, you got to look him up because that dude can shove. He's got like an ERA of 1.5 already right now. I mean, he's been real good for the Nats. So watch out for that. Guys, let me know in the comment section. What are you thinking about this game? You okay with this? Can you go on with your Friday night and just feel okay? Hey, the Mets are 10 games over 500. Me, personally, like, I need to stew for a little bit. This is therapeutic for me, talking about it. Like, I need to talk about it a little bit before I can just put my head on the pillow and call it a night, because that was such a brutal way to go out. For the winning streak to end that way, like, come on. That was tough. But let me know in the comments section. Give me some thoughts, some feelings. Give me some questions if you got any. I'm sorry the camera's not working very well. It's really frustrating me just as much. Like I said, I tried changing some things up here today and, wanted to enhance the stream a little bit. Hopefully it'll get a little bit better now. I'll have it all fixed by tomorrow for our pregame stream, which we'll be doing. Let's see, tomorrow's game is at 5:05, so we'll be having that pregame stream at about 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, we'll have the pregame stream, maybe 4:15, somewhere in that area, but you can catch it here on YouTube. It'll be on Twitter as well. And hopefully the Mets will get back on the horse like we will, because tough loss. And the offense, honestly didn't do a whole lot. Like, we got those couple runs in the 8th inning, but they looked pretty lethargic for the first 7 innings. Top of the order did not look good at all. So Pete Alonso ends up drawing that big walk in the 8th inning, but Lindor had to pop out right before him in that one. Overall for the day, Lindor goes 0 for 4. Don't see that very often lately. Lindor's so hot at Citi Field, but on the road, man, it's been a struggle for him. Soto does end up with 2 hits in 4 at-bats. Alonso over 2, but the 2 walks. Nimmo 2 hits and 4 at-bats. Vientos 2 hits, 4 at-bats. And then Winker taking a tough 0 for 4, obviously, because of that ridiculous triple play call. I mean, he wouldn't have got a hit on the play anyway, but tough way to have an 0 for 4 there. Alvarez 1 for 4, McNeil 1 for 4, Tyrone Taylor 0 for 4. So, I mean, the offense honestly left a lot to be desired. You know, they come away with 8 hits in this one. 4 of them came in the 8th inning. I mean, prior to that, 4 hits through the first 7 innings. I mean, you had 1 opportunity with runners in scoring position. You're not going to win a lot of ball games like that. And it was another great pitching performance from the entire Mets staff, from Kodai Senga to begin with. 6 innings strong, 2 runs. One of them, I mean, like, you don't call it an error on Brandon Nimmo, but it technically allowed the runner to get to second. So, like, it's a mental error. It's one that I would never charge to Senga or blame him for. And then you had the